When I was young, I was once told that we should learn to use language properly, learn the meaning of words, and to always apply our understanding of language at every possible occasion. I questioned this in a very big way. I questioned it then and I question it now, quite simply because it is incorrect. Because people have to learn to use language incorrectly in order to survive. Take the example of a group of highly respected academics, and imagine what these people would be like in conversation. These are people who have more postgraduate qualifications than you will ever even hear of, let alone actually manage to achieve. But yet, these people, when they're gathered around the dining room table, and at the end of a meal they're having a conversation, they speak complete gibberish. Why is this? Quite simply because these people, because of the virtue of their great intellect, they have learned how to misuse language correctly. And when I say that, I mean that they are using their social skills, and therefore they will be using an awful lot of logical fallacies, an awful lot of inappropriate uses of language, and indeed incorrect uses of language. It requires an awful lot of intellectual skill to be able to separate the two ways of thinking. Number one, when you're saying something very articulate, something that is based upon knowledge, reason, logic and understanding. And number two, learning to separate yourself away from that and learning to speak in fluent gibberish for the purposes of social survival rather than necessarily academic or business survival. Here on YouTube, we see an awful lot of gibberish being spoken. One of the many reasons for this, possibly, is that YouTube is a social networking site, which means that people use YouTube as a means of connecting with people, making friends or communicating ideas to people who are of a similar bent to themselves. As a result of that, we can expect there to be loads more logical fallacies and in fact gibberish being spoken under many different circumstances. The difficulty for the viewer who is searching for knowledge is to be able to separate when someone is communicating an important idea and indeed when someone is just speaking in gibberish for their own social benefit. As a result of this, people will become much more confused about what is real, appropriate and true than they would be otherwise. Namely, if YouTube was in fact just an academic site full of people merely giving facts. The fact that there are academics and scientists on YouTube is obviously a good thing. However, these academics and scientists also have learned to misuse the English language for the purposes of communicating to their own little fanboys, cliques, friends and the rest of it. These videos are in fact publicly viewable, and because they are publicly viewable, there is even more misunderstandings going around. Does this have to be stopped? Well, I feel that people should grow more sensitive to the fact that some people talk gibberish for a living, some people talk sense for a living and gibberish socially, and some people only talk sense and don't know how to talk gibberish. There is also a set of people who do not know how to distinguish gibberish from truth or fact. These are people who will get very confused and very convinced that some ideas which are either undesirable or inappropriate or indeed downright irrational are 110% true. So we have to be quite sensitive to the quantity of gibberish that there is here on the internet, and especially here on YouTube, where the information is very accessible and we don't even need to do any reading because the video speaks in language that we can understand. And on top of that, it's all in Technicolor. There's some great presentation skills which are exhibited, and when someone's using great presentation skills and talking complete gibberish, that can become another confounding variable affecting people's ability to understand. It's rather a complex situation just being on YouTube and just being the average viewer. Unfortunately, there's an awful lot of people on YouTube who are not average viewers and are capable of commenting and pointing out where the logical fallacies and intellectual dishonesties are. However, we do have to ask whether those logical fallacies and intellectual dishonesties were in fact part of the gibberish that someone was speaking socially or for the purposes of communicating in a friendly way to the various fans, subscribers and all the rest of that, or whether this was just an individual talking complete and utter bollocks. Just be aware that there is an awful lot of communication happening on YouTube. Some of it is gibberish, some of it is fact, some of it is expressed in a manner which confuses truth and fiction, and some of it is just plain bollocks. Alright? Nick Dutch signing out for now. Hope I haven't confused you too much.